All right, so here we at define activities. Define activities. So we're going to take that scope statement and we're going to further decompose it into activities that people can actually do. And here's the idea. Here's like the 30-second version of teaching someone how to make how to do a work breakdown structure. I'll tell them verbs and nouns. Verbs and nouns. Let's say I need to make an office that I could do a PMP training classroom in. Okay, well, I need lighting, I need flooring, I need furniture, I need HVAC, and I need a presentation system. And then if I look at presentation system, I need a camera. I need, if I was doing my WBS, I need a camera, I need a laptop, I need a microphone, I need a screen. Okay. And then if I look at, let's say camera, I would say, okay, I need inputs, I need, lighting, something else, right? And then if I go below that, then it might go, okay, install a setup camera, setup lighting, plug in this, plug in that. As soon as we get to the point where we're using verbs, we know that we've gotten to the lowest level on our WBS. We can stay where we're at and we can put those verbs into our activity list, and we've gotten to the lowest level that we can get to. So that's kind of like the quick version of teaching someone to do a WBS. You start from your biggest thing and you keep breaking it down to the point where you can't just state a noun, because that noun would be the deliverable. If you can't just state the next piece, if you've got to describe doing something, you know that you've gotten to the lowest level that you can get. And when we get to that lowest level, we further break that down into these activities. And so that's pretty much what we're doing here. When we're done with these activities, the next process is we'll take those as inputs to put them in order and get a network diagram, estimate the duration, and then perform schedule network analysis and get a schedule. All right, so big process here. Tools and techniques, plan, EEFs, OPAs. We're no longer looking at the charter. The charter's high level, and that helped us make the plan. Now that we have the plan, we're going to take the plan in order to help us with the activities. All right. Expert judgment. We're using decomposition again. We're now taking the work packages and decomposing them. Think like breaking down in the ground. We're going to break it down into activities. We may use rolling waves, so I'll dive into this one. And then we get some distinct outputs here. We get a list of activities. We get their attributes. We get which ones are milestones. Right? These are the main outputs. We potentially could get some change requests, and we could potentially update our approach based on how long we think it's going to take and how much it might cost. So let's dive in. The key outputs. We just looked at a few of them, and now let's dive into each of them, and specifically the activity list. So once you break it down, you're going to put all your activities in a list. If you're in project, well, it'll sit there. You might have a description of it. The main thing that PMI says is that you need to make sure that you describe the activity so that a team member understands the word. Like, for instance, I can't just say, install projector into the ceiling. I'd have to say, install projector into a drop ceiling, and this is a building that requires union labor, and et cetera, et cetera. I need to give them something so that they know exactly what they're doing. We get activity attributes. You got to remember that term for PMI. So think attributes, like when we're thinking about a person, how tall are they? What's the color of their eyes and their hair? Well, activity attributes. Okay, what's the activity ID? What WBS ID does it roll up to? What comes before or after? Predecessors and successors. Leads and lags. So we get all this information. This could all be in the WBS dictionary, by the way. Some of it may, some of it may not. You may fill some of it in later. But, they evolve and then they deepen into descriptions as you go through the project, sort of just naturally, inherently happens. So
CJ, that's what I was talking about in Microsoft Project. I know you've worked with Microsoft Project. You get this, right? This is what you see as the activity attributes, is what I'm saying. That's what it's referring to.
Yeah, they're referring to those. And so, yeah, and I was giving you back that piece of the WBS. You could see them in both. So you're right. Right. And then from here, we also look at which of those activities represent the significant points in times. And I think we all get the milestones. So, that's sort of the main outputs that we get here. Now, milestones have zero duration. They define a point in time, not an activity. This is sort of changing over the years. It's like, let's say project, now you can have the 0 day and a 1 day, milestone. So, there's a little bit of fluctuation. But I'm curious, of the thoughts of this group here. Do you all believe that milestones are just that, no durations? Or can you have an activity that serves as a milestone? Because this is not a PMI thing, by the way. So I'm curious how each of you think.
Can you repeat the question again, CJ?
Do you guys operate under the guise that milestones are 0-day duration?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a deliverable.
Yep.
Yeah, it's usually a deliverable, but it's also a point in time when it's a significant something I need to be by, and no duration there.
Deliverables for you guys, okay. I only ask because being so many industries, I see companies that have milestones that are activities. Sometimes, but they're still deliverables. It could be, go get a permit or something like that. I'm trying to think specifically. I got too many things going on in my head, but that's why I was curious.
My industry is mostly activity, so a milestone might be a workshop with defined decision points at the end.
Okay, good. Easy when I have a larger group. There's always a lot, but everybody working the same company. John's here. That's why I always want to hear, because there's always different thoughts in different industries. All right, we may get change requests. Remember, this is always potential. Change requests are always potential. Right, and we may get updates to our project management plan. Right, and those are potential as well. Excuse me. We get change requests. Did we get the updates to the plan? No, sorry. Milestone list, that's different in version 6. Sorry, I'm still not 100%. I don't have the version 6 100% memorized, so there's a couple changes I get off a little bit. So now we're on the inputs here. The schedule management plan and the scope baseline are taken as inputs. All right. What's the scope baseline again?
Scope statement.
And
WBS.
WBS dictionary.
Good. All right. We'll take the plan as well. Those are inputs, EFs and OPAs. All right. In this case, the EF would be the Project Management Information System, aka Microsoft Project or Jira or P6. And then it will take your OPAs that you may have, lessons learned, templates, some policies that are there, even informal ones like, hey, people work remotely on Fridays. Well, if that's the case and that's the culture, that would be an EEF. And we got to think about that too and how we build the schedule out. So we take all this stuff into account. We'll use our expert judgment, and we'll use decomposition again. So this is the same tool and technique. I want you to highlight this, because this term is only used for defined activities and for perform work breakdown structure. So that's the only time you'll see decomposition. So remember that, and they're going to ask you about it. So you'll need to know that that's a tool and technique of defining activities. We'll also use rolling wave planning. Rolling wave planning. This is the idea, and I mentioned this earlier on day one yesterday. It's just the idea that we're not looking at things that are happening in Q3 of 2020 yet. Right? We're still in Q1 of 2019. We might look at Q2 in a little bit detail, and then Q3, Q4. We'll get there when we get there, right? As we complete Q1, we'll start looking at Q3. As we complete Q2, we'll start looking at Q4, something like that. That's our rolling wave plan.